Oh, hey, I'm Tori. Welcome to Omega Ready. If you got the kickoff of this series, then welcome to part two. If not, you missed some good information and you should watch it before watching this video. The link is below. So, step one of the process culminates in ordering your chicks. Congratulations if you've done that, but don't go kicking your boots off just yet because we still got work to do. Step two is to get everything on hand and ready to go before your chicks arrive. Not the morning of or the day of, but before they arrive. Take no chances here because the consequences could be significant. So with that said, let's dive into the details of my preparations for chick arrival. Okay, so before we get started, as a general note, I'm going through the specific details of my brooder setup. I've added the detailed guidelines and the video details below so that you can reference these requirements based on the number of chicks you have ordered. Okay, so let's start with a brooder. A brooder is just a fancy name for a safe enclosure for your chicks. It needs to be secure enough to keep them in and any undesirables out. My 25 chicks require about 12 square foot of space, and the brooder I'm using, which is an old stock tank, is right around 13 square feet. So that'll be perfect for their first 4 weeks of life. After that, they're going to need more space. Ideally, you'll build a brooder that's large enough to contain them over the duration of their stay within the brooder, which means using square footage requirements that are based on them being 4 to 8 weeks old. Examples of brooders that we have used in the past would be a simple wood frame with plywood or OSB attached to it, large plastic storage bins. We've even used pallets with chicken wire on the inside, just assembled into like a large square or rectangle to support the amount of space they need. This is something you can look up online. There are countless examples of very simple and quite exotic brooders that people have built, so I encourage you to do that. The location of the brooder needs to be indoors, but it doesn't necessarily have to be heated. But it should be draft-free and it should be secure from predators. Typical places to put a brooder would include a garage, an outbuilding, a barn, or even a basement. The main requirement is that you'll need access to electricity. Okay, so heat lamps and bulbs. We use a reflective heat lamp with 250 watt red tinted bulbs. We always ensure that we have extra bulbs on hand because it's not common that they fail, but it's also not impossible. So have an extra one because they need the heat. So you're targeting about 100 degrees Fahrenheit at the center of the light pattern on the bedding material. This is usually delivered by hanging a light bulb in the 14 to 18 inch height above the bedding level. The chicks will seek out the perfect temperature based on their liking. If they pile up together in the middle and are chirping loudly, then they're too cold, and you're going to have to lower the lamp assembly a little bit to get the right temperature. If they are way spread out far from the light, then they are too hot. You've hit the Goldilocks temp when they are evenly spread around the circumference of the light pattern and are content and quiet. Okay, so securing your heat lamp. The heat lamp should be hung using metal wire or rope, preferably wire because things do get a little hot. Not necessarily hot enough to cause a problem with the hanging rope, but regardless, I just don't take any chances with it. You're going to want something that is secure and will not allow the heat lamp to fall down onto the chicks in the bedding. This can obviously injure a chick, or worse yet, may cause a fire. So ensure that you have a sturdy frame to hold the heat lamp in place. I take the added step of clamping my crossbeam to the brooder because I'm a klutz and don't want to accidentally knock it over when I'm around the chicks. One last item on heat lamps is make sure that the metal guard is attached to the housing of the lamp itself. It makes it a pain to change the bulb and everything, but it's there for safety reasons, so please use it. Okay, bedding. We use pine shavings. We layer a few inches of pine shavings on the bottom of the brooder to give your chicks a fluffy material that will pack down over time. It's also cheap and easy to replace as it gets soiled. Pine shavings also have the added benefit of being a good insulator to protect them from the cold floor. Also, don't make the mistake of using sawdust. It's way too fine, and the dust could lead to respiratory problems down the road. Pine shavings are typically sold in large bags where the material is compressed together tightly. Just take it out by hand and spread it evenly over the floor. All right, so the next item are dispensers. You're going to need a dispenser for water, and you're going to need one for food. Typically, I start with a 1 quart dispenser for each. It ensures that they have enough area. They're not fighting over access to food or water, and that it holds enough volume that you don't need to constantly refill the thing. So typically you'll start with the 1 quart size and graduate to multiple 1 quarts or the gallon size as they get bigger. All right, so hey, need your attention a few seconds. If you find this information at all helpful, please take 1 second, like this video, subscribe to the channel. We need your help getting bigger so we can reach a wider audience, keep doing this, and have some fun with it. Thank you. Okay, so last item on this list is food. You should start out with a 20% protein crumble that is medicated. This is typically called a starter feed or a starter ration. Medicated chick starter feed is chick feed that is formulated with a medication called amprolium. This medicine can help baby chicks build their immunity to one of the most common diseases to affect baby chicks, coccidiosis. Most starter feeds are medicated, so it's a very common and easy thing to find. There is typically a tag on the bottom of the feed bag that offers a breakdown of the ingredients and at what percentage. If the bag itself doesn't list the protein level, this tag will, so seek it out. A word of warning on protein. 20% protein is sufficient for laying hen chick development. Don't think that if 20% protein is good, then 24% is better. That's nonsense and a waste of your hard-earned money. It's not like you're raising pterodactyls here. Well, hopefully you're not. One last note, a little primer on chicken anatomy. Chickens don't have teeth. They store their food in a sac around the bottom of their neck called a gullet. There, the food is ground up with the help of rocks or grit that is stored within the gullet. Since you are feeding your chicks crumble, they don't need grit to break their food down. Crumble is relatively soft and will break down in their gullet without any grit. However, down the road, when you take them off of the starter crumble, they will need grit or access to the great outdoors where they will find their own grit. So, there you have it. A list of everything you need to have ready before your chicks arrive. Please take the time to pull this all together a few days before they arrive. You don't want any surprises the day they show up. Keep an eye out for our next video, which will be about what you can expect when they arrive and what to do. So, thanks for watching. Have a great day.